Hey guys, Cam for 15, real here. Now the main video is obviously gonna be coming. You'll be seeing that. That's what my Uncle Daryl. We talk about the Bears making their trade for Montez Sweat. We talk about the David Walker running back situation, and then we talk about the culture and other issues we continue to have with the Chicago Bears. But obviously, I wanted to make this little quick short thing before the main video comes out because we found out, or today, what happened is the fact that, well, guess what? Um, Montez Sweat, the defensive lineman we traded for, we signed him to an extension. Literally got the deal done. Obviously, fans were asking and demanding Ryan Poles and basically criticizing him if he didn't get this deal done. In this video, obviously the main video, I did criticize him like, well, he's got to get paid. Got to pay him now, otherwise we're gonna be having some problems. And listen, Ryan Poles has been getting some heat as of late. Listen, I've honestly have given him some heat. I will say, hey, Kay, he's made the moves where he needs to make the moves. But listen, to me, there's more misses than hits, and he deserves a criticism. And honest to God, I think I'm honest to God, I'm out on freaking Poles. To be honest, yeah, he has his things, but I feel like there's too many misses so far, and players are not taking the next step. And obviously, the most egregious one is the coach. But Sweat got a 4-year extension worth 98 million. I'm trying to find the full thing. Adam Schefter. Let's see. Yeah, 98 million dollar contract extension. So that's good. We paid him. He's locked up for 4 more years. They did what they needed to do, and yeah, that's basically it. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. I like the deal. He's locked up. Get some more deals done. Now next up is to get this freaking Jalen Johnson, extension done. I'm not saying pay him a crazy amount of money, but make sure he's paid so he stays here. So then we can freaking and continue to get this defense to improve. But anyways, on to the main video. Hey guys, came for 15. Join me, my Uncle Daryl. We are back talking Chicago Bears football. Now I know it's been a few days, and we're not talking about this news, obviously, the day it came out, but Montez Sweat is now a Chicago Bear after a trade. Um, Freaking another coach got fired, and then Eberflus in his press conference is double downing, saying that apparently the Bears have a really damn good culture, which all right, I guess, but whatever. We'll talk about that. Obviously, the best thing right now is Montez Sweat is now a Chicago Bear. According to Ryan Poles in his press conference, according to Montez Sweat in his press conference also as well. I guess the agent is trying to handle this deal or to get an extension done. And Poles says he's working on getting an extension done as well. You would think they would have to because he's in the final year of his contract. And if you just traded pretty much a high second round pick for just a rental, then what are we doing here? Um, I like the move. I think the move is needed because you needed to find some way to bolster that offense or not offensive line, defensive line, because that defensive line is getting absolutely no pressure, no push at all. And you need to do something. And getting a guy that basically this season is averaging 6.5 sacks basically this season so far. I'm not saying he helped. Well, I'm not saying he's going to make the line instantly better, but he's going to help it get better. And hopefully it frees other guys up to win their one-on-one battles and get to the quarterback and hopefully get some sacks. Hopefully it helps Ngakwe a lot because I know he's kind of been a virtual no-show. And things like that. But I like the move. Obviously, the only questionable thing is you have to hope this move works because if it flops and you just traded a high second round pick again, and he doesn't really perform well then we're looking at Ryan Poles and like, okay, dude, why are you giving up these high second round picks? Mind you, it's back to back time you did that. So I don't think it's gonna flop like a Chase Claypool did this year. It's gotta work, but we'll see. We'll see.
I like the pick too. Um, uh, a lot of talk has been made of Chase Young, Montez Sweat,
Mm-hmm.
but I prefer Sweat because obviously he's a little bit more seasoned of a pass rusher. It does help Yannick Ngakoue. Now, and we're only talking about getting to the quarterback. I mean, in first down running situations.
Yeah.
I mean, we can probably still go with our base package and then throw Sweat up in there and passing, nickel dime situations to be able to get to that quarterback. Um, I like it simply because we got a we got a stud on the defensive line. We have studs in the linebacking core. And if you really want to count Jalen Johnson as a stud, I mean, he's been playing some really good football. We have a stud in the secondary. So I think the trade was made primarily to because there's actually an agreement in place to sign him long term. So I don't think he's a rental. I think Poles will get it done. No, at what cost we'll get it done. I mean, he's currently a 1 year, roughly around 11.5 million a year. So hopefully they have some numbers long term that they can probably bring him in for the next 3 or 4 years. What is he, 27?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, 27. So he's still in the prime of his career. So, and he's slated somewhere around 13, 14 sacks for the season, which is actually pretty good from where I sit. So it's more than what we had before we came in the door. So I like the pick, you know. So if we can get him to do his thing on the left side, and Ngakwe could probably do his thing on the right, and we do got a couple of guys in the interior that actually have shown some promise, getting to the quarterback. So the only question that I particularly have in this whole situation is why? Why make this deal when probably would have got the dude in free agency and kept the second round pick?
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's I mean, we would have got the guys anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would have got either him or Young anyway.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of turned off with the medicals with Young.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then on top of that, Young has just been unproductive, you know.
Yeah.
So but for a guy like Sweat, trading a second round pick for a player we probably wouldn't have got, we would have gotten anyway in free agency. I mean, we were able to pull out Edwards and the linebacker we got from Buffalo. Oh golly gee, man, this road
Edmonds.
Edmonds. We pulled them out. We so we I think we would have pulled out Sweat as well too. You know, are we still saying that the Bears have a possibility of winning the division?
No.
I don't care what happened to Minnesota and Green Bay. I mean, we ain't winning this division.
No.
But if you look at our schedule, I mean, we got Detroit 2 more times and everyone else are Rudy Poops. So I guess by that thinking, the possibility is high. Of course, we still got Getsy, which when it's all said and done, that's to me, that's the Bears' issue. Getsy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think as a whole, this entire coaching staff is an issue.
well, that too. But and Eberflus does seem like a fish out of water. I think head coach is above him.
Yeah.
He's a defensive coordinator, and who knows, I was listening to 670, and they were basically saying, you know what, hey, maybe this move is to see if Eberflus can continue to run the defense after we get a head coach. Like, why keep the dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, why keep the dude? Why keep him as defensive coordinator when you just had him as your head coach?
Basically,
Just
that's a demotion for him.
yeah, it's a demotion. I mean, are you going to keep men at the same salary?
Yeah.
You know,
Um.
but it just seems like to me that a lot of people are scrambling to save their jobs.
Yeah.
But Getsy, on the other hand, I'm sorry, man. There is nothing this dude has done. There's nothing I can foresee that he can do that says he needs to be in this same position with this same team next season. I get don't fire anybody this year because who else you gonna bring in? There's no one else you can bring in.
Um. You could say the same. Well, we'll talk about it in a quick second, but honestly, at this point, you can't get no worse.
No,
Over here looking at the Las Vegas Raiders. They're just cleaning house. They're getting rid of everybody. So I'm like, what's stopping the Bears from doing that? Tradition? Just not firing coaches
yeah,
mid-season?
yeah.
But
Everybody, and you know the Raiders, what they're doing, it's clear, man.
yeah,
They're in tank mode for Caleb Williams.
yeah.
That's all it is. Tank mode for Caleb Williams. I can see Devontae Adams being moved. I can probably see a couple players on their
Trade
defense.
deadline already passed. Well, when the offseason hits, yeah.
Yeah, I can see a lot of these folks being moved. It's tank mode for Caleb Williams. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
I mean, it's clear
mhm,
Carolina won't be drafting the kid.
yeah.
You know, who else is near the bottom of the league? I mean,
Arizona
Washington,
has the first pick technically right now.
Arizona,
Yeah.
possibly, but they locked up Kyler Murray for a gazillion dollars.
We never know. They could just offload him and just trade him.
Could trade him to who though? You know, so
Any team that needs a quarterback. You know,
they
teams
may
are
go. They
desperate.
may go Marvin Harrison Jr. But it's going to be a lot of these teams are going to go tank mode specifically for those two players, Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams. So, and that's what everyone is doing. And a lot of these teams, if you already got a decent quarterback in place, you know, they're going to be looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. And who knows what the Bears are going to do. I still say, and you and I have always disagreed. Yeah, I say reset the rookie clock. That's what I say, because there's nothing that's going on with this team that says playoffs next year and playoffs the year after would be Justin Williams. I mean, not Justin Williams, Justin Fields, fifth year. I mean, because basically right now, we got 2 years with Justin Fields, and they need to decide something what they're going to do with this guy. So I'm saying reset the clock, especially if you bring in another head coaching staff, another offensive coordinator, another defensive coordinator, and then they come up and say, well, you know what? I don't like Justin Fields. I didn't draft him, so I don't like him. Reset the clock, and then you guys get together on who you want to draft as a quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Yes, because Nagy and um, Nagy and that crew drafted Justin Fields. Polls them came on. They inherited Justin Fields. And whether Justin Fields is a good quarterback, bad quarterback, or indifferent, the fact remains that these guys did not draft him. Getsy is calling plays like he just don't know what to do with Fields.
Yep. And we know it's a Getsy problem because in the week against the Raiders, albeit it was the Raiders, he did the things that, okay, we call for. Okay. And I said in my game recap when we played the Chargers,
Yep.
everything the Bears did good and what we called for in the Raiders game. He goes, turns around in the Chargers game, and he's like, okay, now it's time we start airing it out and everything. Instead of establishing the run, play actioning off that to help agent. And then he just thinks, okay, we're here. Let's start airing it out. Let's just do what we got to do to win
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And of course, they get blown out the door.
Correct. Now, and again, it's Getsy wanted to show that hey, I can do this. I can call Bajan is the kind of quarterback. He's not the quarterback. He's the kind of quarterback. His style of play, I can call plays for and be relatively successful. It didn't work.
Yep.
There was one play in which, man, I can't remember who the receiver was, wide open. I
Are you
want
talking
to
about
say,
the Bayless?
huh?
You talking about Bayless?
Which he underthrew
Yeah,
in the end zone.
but
For
he
me,
still
that was,
dropped it.
we're gonna disagree again. For me, that wasn't a Valus problem.
Really?
That was a Bajent bad throw.
I understand it was a bad throw, but at the end of the day,
He still
receiver's
got to
still
come
got to
down.
catch the
He
ball.
still got to come down with it.
It's
But
a terrible drop.
the throw has got to be good enough. Even when you wide open, though, even when you wide open, he's got to
I,
be able. He's got to be. And granted, Valus didn't locate the football. I get all of that. But in the end, it was a horrible throw.
wow.
Valus
That
did what he was supposed to do. He overran it. He ran with the way. I mean, the ball was overthrown by what, 2, 3 yards, underthrown, I should say. I mean, it was just bad.
I think you're the first Bears fan I have just heard talk about that catch and actually defending Bayless on that. I think
Well,
everybody is in disagreement that Bayless Jones sucks and he needs to be cut.
no, I not that I agree with. But on that particular play, that was a Bajan. That was the fault of Bajan, not necessarily Valus. Valus ran a great route. He got separation. He got distance. He got everything a receiver was supposed to get. The unfortunate thing is he didn't get a good throw.
Yeah. But the ball
He,
still hit him in the hands. So at
he
the
didn't
end
get
of the
a
day, you gotta catch the ball. You get paid money to catch the ball. So whether it's underthrown or not.
agent. Agent gets paid to make a good throw.
That's true.
So, so again, I'm not a. It was just bad, and Getsy did a lot of stuff that was just damn make you cross. Just be like, hmm.
No,
And granted, we're novices when it comes to all of this, but I'm just like, every run play, you're running right up the middle. Every run play, you run up the
he gave it to Roshan Johnson coming off a concussion more than Deontay Foreman.
running up the middle. Now, granted, the Darrington Evans touchdown, that was a good call. That was a good call. I'm not saying all of his calls are bad. I'm not. That was a good, but
It's not consistent.
there's no balance. There's no balance. You can tell exactly what the Bears are doing based on certain packages that they run. You know,
It,
it
it
was
Getsy runs his offense like Nagy's offense. He tries to outsmart you by doing these things that he thinks a team wouldn't see coming, but then the team obviously knows what the hell are we doing? Like look at
yeah.
the Trent Taylor stupid reverse play. That was predictable as hell because on the previous play, I think they faked to Trent Taylor at one point. They only come back just to hand him the ball again. And Khalil Mack stuffs it.
First of all, when you see Trent Taylor
Yeah.
and he's lining up wide, there's your trigger right there. Either one or two things: wide receiver screen or reverse.
Yeah. Simple as
It's
that.
like, you know, he doesn't run any two tight end packages. You know, it just I, I for me, Getsy. Getsy has to put the defense in a position to be successful. And he did not. And that's why, for me, the Chargers basically beat the brakes off of us. They kept getting the football because Getsy is not very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Seems like the offense and the defense are doing two totally different things. It's just like, dude, we got to go back out there again. Man, can you like call a play so we can get some rest?
But the defense didn't do themselves any favors. They couldn't make an open field tackle to save their life.
That's true. And Justin Bear picked them apart, man. He picked them apart and they couldn't get to him.
Mm.
So, and now you got to go to New Orleans, and that offense is starting to come together too.
Yeah.
Is Montez Sweat going to play this game?
He said he's more than likely going to try to play.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to change anything about the final score because
I
the
don't think
offense is still garbage. And then maybe they'll get some pressure, but even then, the
so.
secondary, it's We know what they're gonna do. They're gonna target freaking Stevenson. You got
Again,
Jaquan Brisker out, Eddie Jackson. I don't know if he's gonna play or if he's gonna be an emergency player like he was this past week.
well, maybe.
We got to rely on Deron Harmon and Elijah Hicks. Before we get out of here, the Bears fired a coach. They fired the running backs coach David Walker because of his behavior in the workplace. The Bears HR team had to get involved, and that's the second coach on the staff that has been let go, and HR had to get involved. Obviously, Alan Williams was the first guy. Nothing has still been reported about what he did. Don't know what David Walker did, but what we do know, clearly it had something to do with workplace behavior. They didn't specify what it was. Eberflus talked about it. He got when he was asked questions about it, of course, he kind of responded in ways like he was ill prepared to answer the question. All he had to probably say is like, listen, he broke the rules. He wasn't a good employee. Move on from it. That's it. But he
Or even better yet, say yes, he was a good employee. However, he broke the rules, and HR had to do what they had to do.
yeah, simple as
You know,
that.
you don't have to do anything. I'm sorry, I can't discuss it. However, we do wish Coach Walker well in his future endeavors, but unfortunately, he broke a rule.
Yeah. And then
I'm not at liberty to discuss what rule he broke. Let's move out.
yeah, and then I think it was Courtney Cronin asked this to Matt Eberflus, and it was a good question. And she asked him straight up, basically, like, so the culture, what's it, clearly with two coaches being fired because of workplace behavior, basically, the
Mhm.
culture can't be that good. And obviously, like a lying dog, he is. Eberflus, of course, says, well, the culture's great. Now, like, look, I understand you
I can
have,
see what you're saying. I can see
yeah,
what you're about to get to. However, these type of actions not necessarily reflect a bad culture. These type of actions reflect an adjusting, a changing culture. You start to weed out those near do wells, just so you can get in the right people who reflect your culture. Now, and as a coach, I can tell you those things do happen.
oh, yeah,
They do happen. You come into a situation, you see things isn't right, and you start to do things to change the culture of your locker room as well as your office. And yeah, chips will fall, and you have to be able to act swiftly. Now, I'm not saying that because we are talking about the Bears, huh? And the people at the top of the Bears organization are the last name McCaskey. So let's just say that. So, but at the same time, this culture change just basically started. We got a new president, new GM, new head coach, new staff, new basic, probably a new HR too. This could be a Kevin Warren thing too. Hey, let's get these near do wells out of here so we can go ahead and get the right people in these positions. So I'm not going to sit up here and just jump on the it's a bad culture. I'm gonna just
my thing, my
that's where
stand.
I'm going to toe that line. I'm sorry, that's where I'm going to toe that line of I don't know if this is everything bad just happens to be a reflection of a bad culture. I'm not going to toe that line because you do gotta you do gotta break some eggs to make an omelet. So we'll see. I just think that is a part of a shifting culture. I'll say that.
My thing is, I don't I understand that point. I don't really give I to me, if you have, especially with Alan Williams, a guy who came over from Indianapolis, you would think he would know this guy and he would do the right things, and then this comes up and it's twice already. My opinion is I don't think that's a good culture because it's not setting a good example, because most of these players in here, they're very young players and they're trying to
Yeah,
find their way across the league. And
yeah.
if you're bringing in coaches that, hey, they ain't following the rules, they are obviously having bad workplace behavior, that doesn't set a good example. towards your players, and then it doesn't set it's an indictment on the coach. Obviously, Ryan
No,
Poles and
I do agree with that.
has to sign off on the coaching because obviously they get paid too. But at the end of the day, like you're the head coach, you got to make sure in that very first meeting with your players and your coaches, you got to speak. Hey, this cannot be tolerated, and then you have to have a coaches only meeting and say, listen, I trust each and every one of you guys. We got a very young team. You have to understand none of this stuff cannot be tolerated. If you're gonna do that, you might as well leave right now.
Yeah,
Otherwise, because it's a thing of mutual trust.
yeah,
I know I coach football. The coaches, we have a mutual trust. I know, I trust me. I've seen untrustfulness, and I'm just fresh off coach. I watch our varsity coaches; they don't really trust each other, and there's change up on the varsity side in terms of our football program because of that. Um, I always view that as trust, and that also leads to Ryan Poles' press conference. How, obviously he has to say it because hey, you have to say it. You can't go out there and say, hey, yeah, the coach is stinking up the joint, but at least just be like, yeah, things are not going too well. But hey, I believe he can turn it around, get things fixed. Because it just, to me, whatever the Bears say now, it's just a bunch of BS. It's lies. At this point, I'm just ready for this regime change to end. And I understand we're always in this constant cycle of changing the coach and everything. But in my eyes, this team is worse than the tear down year team. I feel like the tear down team could beat this year's team. That's how pathetically bad this team is. And maybe it's because to me, last year's team felt like they played with some moxie and some heart. And this year's team, they bought into the hype. And then when they got smacked upside the head against the Packers, it's like, oh, well, we're back again to what we were last year. And then obviously they get a win. Then they turn it around against the Vikings and they stink up the joint. And the same thing can be said. They beat the Commanders. No, they beat the Raiders. They turn it around. Okay, maybe we can turn a corner here. They come out flat against the Chargers, and they do opposite in terms of what they were in terms of not being prepared to play. And honestly, at this point, I'm just ready for Eberflus to go. I think right now he's probably the worst tenured Bears coach in their history, and there's been a lot of bad coaches here. Um, and again, I look at Las Vegas, and I'm just like, if they're firing everybody, and we know it's this coaching staff is a lame duck coaching staff. Heck, they even fired the Raiders. Even fired their OC, and I'm like, why can't the Bears do that? Like, what's stopping them? The Raiders have Antonio Pierce, former linebacker, being their interim head coach now.
yeah.
So this whole thing of the Bears can't find somebody to replace, I don't care who it is. How worse it's gonna get? Probably not bad, but they'll get hopefully, and I mean hopefully, Ryan Poles does the necessary thing and he gets rid of him. Otherwise, Kevin Warren, who they did show on the TV broadcast in the Chargers game, he didn't look too happy.
Oh, he didn't look happy at all.
So,
I would go as far as to say he was pissed.
oh, he probably was.
And the thing about it is that when the president of the organization gets pissed, then who is he going to chew out?
The guy's under him.
He's going to chew out the first guy under him, which is Ryan
Ryan
Poles.
Poles.
Dude.
And obviously Ryan Poles, as of late, he's been getting flack from Bear fans with the Jalen Johnson situation. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Johnson's an elite corner or anything. I
Nope.
think
But he's playing well.
he's playing well enough to deserve at least
Yeah,
a contract extension. I'm not
correct.
saying pay him crazy absorbent amount of money.
No,
We
I'm not
don't we
saying
don't
that.
know the deal and we don't know what he's asking for and what's on the table that Ryan Poles is offering. But with the fact that I'm looking at like a guy with Stevenson, I like him. He's got talent, but right now, kid's getting picked on like every time I look.
Well, I mean, it's a rookie, and you got
Yeah,
to be, and that's where Eberflus comes in to be able to um, structure his defense so that Stevenson can be successful. And so far, he has. We've seen some glimpses of how good Stevenson can be. Just like we saw glimpses of how good Kyler Gordon can be late last year. So we've seen glimpses, and it now that's where I'm just gonna be like, let's just be patient, and let's see what these kids can do moving forward. However, I do think that we do need to sign Johnson.
Yeah.
I'll say we need to sign Johnson and Sweat
Yeah.
just to see what this defense can be next year. Now,
If
now
if he
Ngakwe,
results.
Ngakwe, I think we should probably move on from him for
Yeah.
next year. Let's get an actual. I prefer speed rushers. That's just my preference. Someone that can get to the quarterback quickly. Ngakwe ain't that dude. Sweat's that dude. Ngakwe ain't that dude. So Brisker, on the other hand, Brisker's hurt again.
Concussion protocol.
Yeah. So
I
that's sad because I like Brisker, but we need to get someone alongside him. Jackson needs to get the hell out of here. You know, I love my roll tide guys, but
I think he's
he needs
getting traded.
he needs to go. He needs to go. I just don't see the benefit. I mean, we need someone alongside Brisker that can, do what Jackson did that first year under Nagy.
And
That
just
Pro
stay
Bowl.
healthy. Just stay healthy.
So that Pro Bowl year. And then again, just like another problem that I've always had with the Bears over the years, depth. When we can't survive an injury.
Yeah.
Brisker comes, he gets hurt, we pop in Elijah Hicks.
And he's no better.
I
If
mean,
anything, he falls asleep on defense most of the time.
yeah, there's a huge drop off once Brisker leaves the game. There's a huge drop off when Jackson leaves the game. So everyone else seems to be healthy enough to play. Now, granted, I'm not questioning their injuries because football is a collision sport. This sport
Yep.
is hard, though. That's why you got to have depth at all positions. And right now, we just don't have depth at the safety position or the cornerback position.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
That's a
def
Poles thing. That's a Poles thing.
Yep.
Poles has got to be able to make sure that we have depth at these positions. Got to make sure. Now, Poles is, under fire, just like Eberflus. And my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't even know what the use is for Getsy. I say, yeah, get him out of here, and hell, let Eberflus run that if he can. I don't care, man. I'm so done with Getsy. I'm so done with Getsy, man. It's just, just get rid of him. I can,
yeah.
yeah.
I think we're all done with Getsy. Getsy, whatever Getsy does this week against the Saints, I don't know, but he better just be running the ball and doing a lot more play action this week. But
Yeah, you
I
got to
just have a
be
feeling he's not going to do
balanced.
that.
You got to be balanced when you run the ball. Sweeps, off tackle, dives. I mean, you got to be balanced. He's not balanced. All he does is run up the middle.
That or just
Yeah,
drop back passing from shotgun.
yeah. 5 wide, first down.
Yeah.
And we got Bajent going again.
Who knows when Justin Fields going to come back? And even then, who's to say if he's still the play caller, is he going to play call good for Justin?
And then on top of that, they may just sit him just to go ahead and tank.
Well, at that point, you might.
New
It should
Orleans,
just.
New Orleans is not a easy place to get a
Oh yeah,
W.
yeah, of course.
And their defense is good.
Yeah,
And Kamara's been balling out.
yeah. I think the team's gonna miss a lot more tackles too. So
And you got Rashid Shaheed. I mean, I'm willing
yeah,
to
Michael
bet.
Thomas is back too. Chris Olave.
And
Yeah,
you think the Bears are gonna go into New Orleans and win that game?
I give him no chance.
No, man. I would honestly go as far as to think the same thing that the Chargers did to him is the same thing New Orleans is about to do to him, especially if Getsy calls the plays like he called against the Chargers.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the same stuff.
yeah. Nothing really else I can say, but yeah, we'll see. We'll do. We'll be
We'll see.
back talking the
But I
Bears.
think, but to close, I think there is there was an agreement in place. I believe that. I don't have any information that proves it. That I do believe they had an agreement in place that Sweat would sign long term with the Bears, provided the Bears unasked a second round pick.
Yeah. It'd just be a really bad. See if they can't get a deal done and he just walks. And so far, the only other place he was connected to was Atlanta, which is his hometown. Because Atlanta was like really close. And the only reason why the Commanders didn't trade Sweat to Atlanta is because, well, the Bears obviously offered the second round pick and they knew Bears are probably gonna be bad. So we're gonna get a high second round pick. So let's go
Right.
with that.
And right
So
now it's projected at 35.
yeah, which is basically in a way similar to Claypool because the Steelers they traded Claypool to us because they knew, oh, they're gonna be the higher pick than say the Packers.
I would have never done that. This Sweat with an agreement in place to re-sign, yeah, I would have second round pick would have been okay. Is okay for me. I
Yeah,
think you probably would have got a third, like the 49ers did with Young, but a second round pick is okay with me, provided his age and his production. Yeah, second round pick is fine.
yeah.
You know,
On top of it, getting the deal done.
on top of getting a deal done. You
So
know, I would have tried to get the deal done before the trade. Let him say, hey, would you agree to this? Would you agree to this? Would you agree to that? I just wouldn't have made the trade and then hope and pray we get a deal done later. Now that I would not have done.
yeah. And yeah, that's gonna be the thing, you know. Poles has got to get these deals done. He can't be cheap with his money. I understand he has a plan, but sometimes you just got to go out there and you got to spend it. We have the most cap space in the league, so it's like you just can't hold the money.
Yep. We're going to have it again next year too. So,
So, you
you know,
know,
so I say give it up and let's see what Eberflus can do with the squad to show that he should be retained at the least DC. Head coach,
If Jim Harbaugh's on the open block. I'm sorry, you're firing him and getting Jim Harbaugh on your team immediately.
man, you find someone that can do with Justin Fields what we feel Justin Fields can be as a quarterback, that can just progress him to that superstar status and then decide what to do with Fields. I'll still say reset. I'll still say reset the clock. There's nothing that's going on with this team within the next couple of seasons that screams Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I thought going into the season they might be like maybe a season or two away. They look like they might be 3, 4, 5 seasons away before they start contending.
That's why I say reset the clock. Let's see if we can get another kid up in there, and then you reset that clock 4 or 5 years, and then you build again. Because the problem is going to be trying to giving Justin Fields 35, 45 million.
I don't think the way he's playing, he ain't getting that money.
No,
Like
no.
if anything, if they do bring him back, I could see them bringing him back on like $15 million deal.
I can see them bringing him back for that fifth year.
They
Outside
gotta
of that,
pick it. They gotta pick it up this year after this once the off season hits.
well, they got to pick up the after this season, they have to pick up the fifth.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll see. Yeah. And the fifth will probably be somewhere around because see, right now he getting chump change.
yeah.
But that fifth year will probably roughly be around 7, 8 million.
No, I think it'd be higher than that. I think it'd be
Think
like
so?
damn near. I think it's like pushing it 20 mil. Yeah,
Then I wouldn't do the fifth year.
especially if you're not sold on him.
I wouldn't do the fifth year. I
So
would I wouldn't. So then I would bring him in, just go ahead and next year be his last, and then trade him. Trade him to Atlanta.
yeah,
They run the ball a lot. Trade him there.
probably benefits him most. And then he goes
Right.
back home.
Yeah. And then again, this year, after this year, reset the clock, trade Justin Fields next year to keep from giving him that insane hype for a fifth year. And then
Yeah,
do
I will say if they do get themselves a new quarterback, they got to build in the trenches. They got to fix that offensive line because
yeah.
Lord have mercy. I'm done with Cody White here. I'm done with Lucas Patrick, Braxton Jones, or not Braxton
Yeah.
Jones, Larry Borum. My
No,
God.
Larry Braxton Jones too.
Yeah, Braxton Jones too. He's kind of he's more of a swing tackle to be honest. guy that can come in. Honestly, if they just get a dominant left tackle, whether it's in the draft or somehow through free agency, I'll take it. But anyways, we're gonna get out of here. We're out of time. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. As well as hit the subscribe button about the Bears. We'll be back talking Bears game recap against Saints, which is probably gonna be a loss. But till then, guys, catch you guys later. Peace.